Hello, I'm Ryan Geary. It is February 22nd, 2017, and this is my informative speech. I'll be informing you all about sports-related concussions today. By the time I'm finished with this speech, I would like for you all, the audience, to understand the severity of the matter and the long-term effects that concussions have on the brain. With all the technology we have today, we're able to see how much more prevalent concussions are becoming in sports. One example of this is when Wayne Gallman, Clemson's star running back, suffered a concussion on the opening drive of what was a very close game against NC State. A stadium full of fans wanted Wayne back on the field. However, Coach Dabo Swinney denied Gallman's request to play. This decision by Dabo could have saved Gallman's life. The science surrounding sports-related head trauma and the long-term impact of concussions has evolved significantly over the past several decades through government and private sector testing around the globe, including work done by the Center for Disease Control, or the CDC. According to the epidemiology and impact of traumatic brain injury, a brief overview, scientists from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimate that Americans suffer 1.6 to 3.8 million concussions related to sports or recreational activity. This is not just collegiate sports or professional sports. In fact, sports-related concussions occur in many sports played by everyone, including but not limited to soccer, lacrosse, baseball, hockey, wrestling, cheerleading, and gymnastics. I've suffered 5 concussions throughout my life, all worse than the first. I suffered 2 when I was playing soccer from heading the ball. I suffered 2 in baseball and 1 when I was surfing. Consider that the speed of impact when tackling a football player standing still is 25 miles an hour, and the average speed of a headed soccer ball is 70 miles an hour, and at that point a concussion is almost inevitable, says concussiontreatment.com. Concussions suffered during contact sports are dramatically increasing risk for athletes. If not properly detected and treated, these injuries can possibly result in long-term disabilities or even death. Knowing what a concussion is and how to stop it is the first step in preventing serious injury. A concussion is a brain injury. It is typically caused by a blow or impact to the head, causing the brain to move rapidly and contacting the skull and resulting in brain trauma. Concussion symptoms may include headaches, nausea, cognitive impairment, changes in sleep patterns, changes in energy level or appetite, or changes in emotion. Headaches and dizziness are the most common symptoms, but nearly half of all athletes injured feel no symptoms immediately following the blow. A single concussion can result in significant health issues, but multiple concussions increase the risk of long-term effects. Suffering a concussion before a prior concussion heals is extremely dangerous. It can result in long-term effects and can seriously harm the brain. So how do we prevent concussions? Training coaches and athletic staff is the best way to avoid the possible long-term negative health impacts of head trauma. Coaches and athletic trainers for athletes of all ages are now required to take training courses in identifying and treating concussions in their early stages. According to the Neurotrauma Research Lab, a major consideration when evaluating for concussions is the athlete's prior history to head trauma. Some research indicates that an athlete that has had a concussion is 1 to 2 more times likely to receive a second one, and the risks continue to increase with each subsequent concussion. An athlete that has 3 concussions is potentially 3 to 9 times more likely to suffer a 4th concussion. The Sport Concussion Assessment Tool, or the SCAT, developed in 2004, is a widely used tool for evaluating possible concussions. The SCAT includes a graded symptom checklist, assessment drill, and physical examination. Second impact syndrome, or SIS, presents a significant health risk to athletes. SIS occurs when the brain swells rapidly and catastrophically. After a person suffers a second concussion, before symptoms from an earlier concussion have subsided. The second hit to the head can occur anytime from minutes or weeks or even months after the initial injury. Approximately 50% of SIS injuries result in death, making the identification and treatment critical to the athlete's health. Doctors cited in the Journal of the American Academy of Physician Assistants estimate that 50% of SIS injuries result in death, and making... With all the technology in today's society, we are able to see how concussions affect the brain and how the concussions pan out in the long run. Concussions can alter a person's life forever and are to be taken very seriously.